of the last three audited total revenues, total expenses. There's the $1.7 million that we had as an ending fund balance on June 30 and as a beginning fund balance on July 1, 2011. However, while the revenues have stayed pretty much as they were when we adopted the preliminary budget, the real expenditure budget, without the concessions that we've been talking about but haven't received yet, confirmed, is more. In fact, it's very similar to what we really spent last year. That's what, $128,000, $130,000 more. So really, some pretty status quo bottom line, but we really have cut an awful lot out of that budget, but costs have gone up on things that we can't control. But this number and this number have to be adjusted before we resubmit our deficit elimination plan. Here are the gross numbers, again, audited numbers. This is the preliminary budget that you adopted. So I'm going to predict what it's going to look like without any changes. This is what I think your June 30, 2012 numbers are going to look like without changes. The state won't accept that. So when we really graph what's going on and take out the budgeted numbers and take out the really most predictive numbers, this is where your ending fund balance is going to be. The state expects it to be heading this way. So we've got to fix that. This is the last page of the deficit elimination plan. And what the state's looking for is that number, a positive number, on June 30, 2014. They just want to know how we're going to do that, but this number has to be bigger than 1. It has to be bigger than 0. 1 would be acceptable. So we've got to show them how we're going to do that. This works very nicely, except this is the preliminary budget. There's the $420,000 operating surplus rather than the $1.1 million operating deficit. These are the enrollments. The enrollments are very important. We haven't talked to you about enrollments, or I haven't talked to you about enrollments. And they're, of course, very important in computing what our state aid is going to be. We're funded on a per-student basis. When the newspaper called and said, what's our total enrollment, actually we told them we thought we were going to be down a couple. Now that we've gone through the preliminary audits, we're actually up about 7 kids from where we were in September of 2010. However, while that is, and the assumption in our preliminary budget was that we were going to be the same, so arguably we're 7 above. And looking at where the numbers are, however, there's kind of a difference between apples and apples and oranges and oranges. You've been doing some really different things in the county and also here at Willow Run that are really just exactly what we should be doing. We're doing different programs. The WAY program in particular, we've got a whole lot of kids here. I don't know the breakout of this year's numbers. I haven't really looked at these, but I can tell you of these 95, about 46 of those kids had already dropped out of school. The WAY people went out and got them and said, you got to go back to school, you got to work on your high school diploma. And who knows about the other, 48 kids, but they have, most of them had the earmarks of kids that were going to drop out. Bad attendance, behind grade accomplishment. So this number went after some kids that we really weren't satisfying in these numbers. We've almost doubled that program. It's a popular program. This is the International Baccalaureate program, and this is the college
Early college alliance.
So these are special kids that have a different kind of high school experience than I had, and it's just like most of you had. These are the traditional high school kids. The problem from the business office perspective, however, is that our agreement with the providers of these programs is that we're going to send all the state funding. The Washington ISD cannot apply to the Michigan Department of Education for state aid on general ed provision. And so when the ISD runs one of those programs, they're the organizers and they really run the program. But we appropriately, and the state certainly knows this is what's going on, we list those kids as our students, and you've heard us use the term seat time waiver. Now, we've applied for these programs. I'm just trying to make it very clear that this isn't any kind of, fast accounting. It's a very legitimate way of accounting, but these programs are so expensive that what we've agreed to do is to send all the money that the state sends to us to these programs. Okay? As opposed to these kids, 100% of the foundation grant for these kids is consumed by classroom instruction. Only about 40% of the foundation grant for these kids is consumed, giving the district the other 60% to cover all the overhead of all those frivolous things like lighting the classroom, and heating the classroom, and cleaning the classroom, and giving kids a ride on bus, and clearly legitimate things. But all of the foundation grant goes in these. These go to offset the other costs. The problem in budgeting is that when you really compare this line, because we have so many kids here, we've actually got a decline of 66 students. 66 students who contribute to the overhead. So that's kind of a problem. We need to differentiate that, trying to figure out where our budgets are going. Our foundation grant was down by $530. That's 6.7%. That's a total funding. Those are actual dollars. It's not adjusted for inflation dollars. It's actual dollars. Our funding is down per student. Well, I just showed you that arguably our students are also down. I'm supposed to be giving you these copies of these things as I go through. So this next one is I've got some notes in this one. Our retirement rate is up almost 18.5%. Now, the retirement rate applies to every penny that we put through our payroll system. And our payroll, like most school districts, is approximately half of our budget. So we don't want to talk in terms of 18.5% on 150% of our budget, saying about 9.25% on half our budget. So that change, that looks like it's only 3.8% increase, is really an 18.5% increase. That change amounted to a 9.25% impact on our entire budget. And the next one is our hospitalization went up by a little over 10%. We spent $2.2 million on hospitalization last year, so 2.2 times 10% is another $250,000. These are the notes on I don't do this, so put your name at the top of the page, please. Do not begin to go. The reason I give you these is I've got the arithmetic on what each of these costs, just for people. And all of you will be responsible for this on the final, of course. But in terms of dollars, by my arithmetic, if you take the 1,509 students, and you multiply it by the new foundation grant, $799,000, $800,000 less that we got because we have this lower foundation grant.